Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Scientist. Tonight, we drift into a world where the air feels ancient, where the light moves gently through layers of leaves, and where every sound is softened by the quiet breath of nature. This is the rainforest, a place where life gathers in endless forms, where rain falls in slow rhythms, and where the planet itself seems to hum with a peaceful, steady heartbeat. It is a world that has existed for millions of years, growing and evolving in the same calm patterns, untouched by hurry, shaped only by the soft cycles of sunlight, water, and time. Before we begin, take a moment to let your shoulders loosen and your breath settle. If you'd like, close your eyes and imagine the cool air of a rainforest surrounding you, moist, refreshing, carrying the scent of leaves and earth. Let the noise of your day drift gently outward, fading like distant echoes beneath thick layers of green. You don't need to solve anything now. You don't need to hold on to any unfinished thoughts. Just allow your mind to soften, the way mist settles onto quiet branches in the early morning hours. Picture yourself stepping beneath the canopy, where sunlight filters down in warm, dappled beams, creating moving patterns across the forest floor. The air is dim, but comforting, wrapped in shades of green so deep and soothing that even your thoughts begin to sway in slow, relaxed motions. Every leaf, every drop of water, every distant sound blends into a single, calming atmosphere that seems to invite you into its stillness. The forest speaks in gentle tones, the soft tap of rain on leaves, the distant splash of water falling from one branch to another, the quiet hum of life moving in harmony. Rainforests do not rush. They grow and breathe and change at their own quiet pace. They hold memories of ancient earth, keeping rhythms older than cities, older than mountains, older even than many of the species that now walk the planet. Tonight, we will wander through these peaceful landscapes, following the slow patterns of water, the gentle architecture of plants, and the soft choreography of life that unfolds in every direction. Let each detail calm your mind. Let each image bring you deeper into quiet. This is the most relaxing facts about rainforests to fall asleep. Let's begin deep within the rainforest. The light moves in slow, filtered beams that drift gently through the canopy, never striking the ground all at once, but arriving in small, softened patches. As the sun shifts, these patches of brightness glide across leaves, rocks, and moss in a way that feels almost like watching a quiet dance of light. Nothing is harsh or sudden. Even the brightest moments are tempered by layers of green that soften every edge. Standing there, you would feel as though time had slowed to match the forest's rhythm, allowing every detail to unfold with patience and calm. The rainforest canopy forms a vast, living ceiling overhead, a continuous layer of branches and leaves that stretches for miles. This canopy doesn't feel heavy. Instead, it acts like a protective veil, holding the heat above and letting cool, gentle air settle beneath it. The rustling of leaves high above becomes a distant whisper, like wind moving through soft fabric. Beneath this natural roof, the forest floor stays dim and cool, wrapped in a kind of twilight that remains steady even as the world outside shifts from morning to noon to night. It creates an atmosphere where everything feels sheltered and unhurried. Mist drifts through the rainforest in slow, winding paths, curling around tree trunks and hanging in delicate layers between branches. This mist captures light in a way that transforms the air into something visible, a luminous, floating presence that moves with the gentlest currents. Sometimes it settles into stillness. Other times, it swirls like a soft breath released by the forest itself. Walking through it feels like moving through a dream, where the boundary between air and touch becomes a soft, quiet mystery. The mist cools the skin and calms the senses, slowing thoughts as naturally as rain gathers on leaves. Rain in the rainforest arrives not with violence, but with softness. The first drops fall quietly, tapping on broad leaves with a sound like slow, delicate drumming. Soon the canopy begins to shimmer as droplets scatter and slide along smooth surfaces, creating a gentle chorus that echoes through the trees. This rain does not rush downward. It is caught and held by thousands of overlapping leaves, drifting in a layered descent that can take minutes to reach the forest floor. The result is a soundscape so calming that even thinking begins to mimic its rhythm. Steady, soft, and unforced. The trunks of rainforest trees rise like ancient pillars, straight and tall, stretching toward the light far above. Many are wrapped in blankets of moss, vines, and delicate ferns that climb their surfaces in spiraling patterns. These climbing plants do not cling aggressively. They move with patience, growing slowly, following the contours of the bark as though tracing the shape of the air around them. Touching the surface of one of these trees feels like touching a piece of quiet history, cool, textured, alive with small movements of insects and moisture, yet profoundly still. The rainforest floor is a soft mosaic of fallen leaves, moist soil, and drifting petals that gather in deep layers over time. Each step sinks slightly into the earth, cushioned by decades of organic material that has broken down into rich, fragrant humus. The air close to the ground is cool and damp, carrying the scent of moss, earth, and gentle decay, a natural perfume that feels grounding and comforting. It is a place where the cycle of life continues in perfect balance. Leaves fall, soften, melt into the soil, and become nourishment for new growth rising quietly above. Water slowly finds its way through the rainforest, collecting into streams that move with a calm persistence. These streams do not rush or roar. They glide between rocks, slipping over smooth stones and clear, translucent ribbons. The sound they make is a gentle trickle, steady and soft, harmonizing with the distant tapping of rain on leaves. When sunlight reaches these streams, the surface sparkles with tiny points of light that seem to flicker and drift with the current. Watching this movement is like watching time flow, slow, patient, and endlessly soothing. High in the canopy, leaves are arranged in layers that channel water downward with astonishing elegance. Each leaf catches part of the rainfall, guiding it toward its tip where droplets gather, swell, and finally fall in graceful, rhythmic drops. This slow, measured transfer of water creates a soft pattern of sound that echoes through the forest, a delicate dripping that continues long after the rain has stopped. It is nature's version of a lullaby, a gentle repetition that eases the mind into quiet focus and invites the body to rest. The colors of the rainforest shift depending on the light. In the morning, everything glows in soft pastel greens as mist lingers between the trees. By midday, the greens deepen into rich, velvety tones, the leaves shining with moisture and sunlight. In the late afternoon, warm golden beams slip through the canopy, illuminating the forest in hues of amber and jade. These slow changes in color create a sense of constant, peaceful transformation. Nothing abrupt, nothing intense, just the forest breathing through shades of green as the day unfolds around it. The air inside the rainforest is alive, but never overwhelming. It carries the faint scent of orchids, damp earth, young leaves, and the cool breath of flowing water. Occasionally, a gentle breeze stirs the branches, sending tiny droplets falling like sparkling dust through the light. Breathing in this air feels like drawing in calm itself, fresh, quiet, and full of subtle sweetness. It settles the senses, slows the pulse, and creates an inner stillness that mirrors the deep tranquility found everywhere in the forest. Deep within the rainforest, the light moves in slow, filtered beams that drift gently through the canopy, never striking the ground all at once, but arriving in small, softened patches. As the sun shifts, these patches of brightness glide across leaves, rocks, and moss in a way that feels almost like watching a quiet dance of light. Nothing is harsh or sudden. Even the brightest moments are tempered by layers of green that soften every edge. Standing there, you would feel as though time had slowed to match the forest's rhythm, allowing every detail to unfold with patience and calm. The rainforest canopy forms a vast, living ceiling overhead, a continuous layer of branches and leaves that stretches for miles. This canopy doesn't feel heavy. Instead, it acts like a protective veil, holding the heat above and letting cool, gentle air settle beneath it. The rustling of leaves high above becomes a distant whisper, like wind moving through soft fabric. Beneath this natural roof, the forest floor stays dim and cool, wrapped in a kind of twilight that remains steady even as the world outside shifts from morning to noon to night. It creates an atmosphere where everything feels sheltered and unhurried. Mist drifts through the rainforest in slow, winding paths, curling around tree trunks and hanging in delicate layers between branches. This mist captures light in a way that transforms the air into something visible, a luminous, floating presence that moves with the gentlest currents. Sometimes it settles into stillness. Other times, it swirls like a soft breath released by the forest itself. Walking through it feels like moving through a dream, where the boundary between air and touch becomes a soft, quiet mystery. The mist cools the skin and calms the senses, slowing thoughts as naturally as rain gathers on leaves. Rain in the rainforest arrives not with violence, but with softness. The first drops fall quietly, tapping on broad leaves with a sound like slow, delicate drumming. Soon the canopy begins to shimmer as droplets scatter and slide along smooth surfaces, creating a gentle chorus that echoes through the trees. This rain does not rush downward. It is caught and held by thousands of overlapping leaves, drifting in a layered descent that can take minutes to reach the forest floor. The result is a soundscape so calming that even thinking begins to mimic its rhythm, steady, soft, and unforced. The trunks of rainforest trees rise like ancient pillars, straight and tall, stretching toward the light far above. Many are wrapped in blankets of moss, vines, and delicate ferns that climb their surfaces in spiraling patterns. These climbing plants do not cling aggressively. They move with patience, growing slowly, following the contours of the bark, as though tracing the shape of the air around them. Touching the surface of one of these trees feels like touching a piece of quiet history, cool, textured, alive with small movements of insects and moisture, yet profoundly still. The rainforest floor is a soft mosaic of fallen leaves, moist soil, and drifting petals that gather in deep layers over time. Each step sinks slightly into the earth, cushioned by decades of organic material that is broken down into rich, fragrant humus. The air close to the ground is cool and damp, carrying the scent of moss, earth, and gentle decay, a natural perfume that feels grounding and comforting. It is a place where the cycle of life continues in perfect balance. Leaves fall, soften, melt into the soil, and become nourishment for new growth, rising quietly above. Water slowly finds its way through the rainforest, collecting into streams that move with a calm persistence. These streams do not rush or roar. They glide between rocks, slipping over smooth stones and clear, translucent ribbons. The sound they make is a gentle trickle, steady and soft, harmonizing with the distant tapping of rain on leaves. When sunlight reaches these streams, the surface sparkles with tiny points of light that seem to flicker and drift with the current. Watching this movement is like watching time flow slow, patient, and endlessly soothing. High in the canopy, leaves are arranged in layers that channel water downward with astonishing elegance. Each leaf catches part of the rainfall, guiding it toward its tip, where droplets gather, swell, and finally fall in graceful, rhythmic drops. This slow, measured transfer of water creates a soft pattern of sound that echoes through the forest, and delicate dripping that continues long after the rain has stopped. It is nature's version of a lullaby, a gentle repetition that eases the mind into quiet focus and invites the body to rest. The colors of the rainforest shift depending on the light. In the morning, everything glows in soft pastel greens as mist lingers between the trees. By midday, the greens deepen into rich, velvety tones, the leaves shining with moisture and sunlight. In the late afternoon, warm golden beams slip through the canopy, illuminating the forest in hues of amber and jade. These slow changes in color create a sense of constant, peaceful transformation. Nothing abrupt, nothing intense, just the forest breathing through shades of green as the day unfolds around it. The air inside the rainforest is alive but never overwhelming. It carries the faint scent of orchids, damp earth, young leaves, and the cool breath of flowing water. Occasionally, a gentle breeze stirs the branches, sending tiny droplets falling like sparkling dust through the light. Breathing in this air feels like drawing in calm itself, fresh, quiet, and full of subtle sweetness. It settles the senses, slows the pulse, and creates an inner stillness that mirrors the deep tranquility found everywhere in the forest. As you move deeper into the rainforest, the canopy thickens until the sky above becomes a soft mosaic of leaves, branches, and filtered light. This layered ceiling shifts gently with the breeze, allowing small patches of sunlight to drift across the forest floor, like wandering lanterns. These drifting pockets of brightness create a slow-moving play of light that makes the entire environment feel alive, yet peaceful, as though the forest is carrying its own quiet rhythm that invites you to slow down and simply observe the subtle beauty changing around you. Certain trees in the rainforest grow buttress roots wide, flaring structures that extend outward like the elegant folds of a flowing gown. These roots don't just support the tree, they create smooth walls of wood that rise from the forest floor in sweeping curves. Touching one feels like resting a hand on the side of a massive, living sculpture. Moss often carpets their surfaces, adding a cool softness that makes the roots feel ancient, grounded, and deeply connected to the earth. Standing near these giant structures gives the sense of being sheltered by something wise and patient. If you listen closely, the rainforest carries its own soft music, not loud or sudden, but continuous and layered. The quiet hum of insects blends with the distant tapping of dripping water, creating a gentle soundtrack that surrounds you from every direction. Occasionally, a leaf falls with a barely audible whisper, drifting slowly through the air until it settles on the soft forest floor. This natural symphony has no beginning or end. It simply exists, surrounding you like a warm, invisible blanket. Over time, your heartbeat begins to match its slow, steady tempo. Rainforest air is incredibly humid, allowing tiny droplets of moisture to gather on almost every surface. Leaves sparkle with beads of water that cling to their edges. Vines appear glossy and alive, and even the bark of trees takes on a soft sheen. As the breeze moves through the forest, some of these droplets fall in delicate streams, creating a quiet, irregular pattern of gentle tapping that resonates throughout the understory. It is the sound of nature, breathing slow, soft, and endlessly soothing. The rainforest's world of green is not a single shade, but an entire palette that changes with distance, light, and moisture. Leaves closer to the sunlight glow with bright emerald tones, while those further below deepen into soft, mossy hues. Ferns add their feathery layers of delicate lime green, and moss-covered logs introduce deeper, velvety shades. The variety of greens creates a visual harmony that calms the mind almost instantly, encouraging you to relax into the gentle rhythms of nature. It is a soothing immersion, like sinking slowly into a pool of color that holds you with comforting warmth. At certain hours of the day, shafts of sunlight break through openings in the canopy and fall in straight columns of golden light. These beams move with the passing sun, illuminating drifting particles of mist that rise softly from the forest floor. Watching these particles float through the beams feels like observing tiny stars moving in slow motion, each one shimmering briefly before fading back into the shade. These moments of light give the rainforest an almost sacred atmosphere, a quiet, shimmering beauty that feels timeless. The rainforest is filled with towering palms that stretch upward with elegant, slender trunks. Their leaves spread out like vast, feathered fans, creating sweeping arcs that sway gently overhead. The soft movement of these palm fronds creates a rustling sound that comes in slow, rhythmic waves, a sound reminiscent of distant ocean waves brushing against the shore. This gentle swaying, combined with the filtered light passing through their leaves, creates one of the calmest experiences the forest has to offer. A perfect blend of motion and stillness. Some rainforest plants send their roots downward through the air before they reach the ground, creating long, slender strands that hang from branches like natural ropes. These aerial roots move slowly with the breeze, swaying in graceful arcs that add a sense of gentle motion to the forest's stillness. Over time, they touch the earth and embed themselves softly, creating new anchors that help support the trees above. These descending roots symbolize the rainforest's constant connection between heaven and earth, always reaching, always grounding, always growing in quiet harmony. Hidden pools of rainwater often collect in the broad leaves of certain plants, forming tiny natural basins that shimmer in the filtered light. These small reservoirs reflect fragments of the canopy above, creating miniature mirrors that hold delicate glimpses of the sky. The water in these pools moves only when disturbed by a drop of rain or a passing breeze, creating ripples so soft they appear more like expanding rings of light than movement. These small details add layers of calm to the rainforest, each one a reminder that beauty doesn't always need to be grand to be soothing. The older layers of the rainforest floor carry the scent of earth, wood, and distant rain, a fragrance that feels grounding in a deeply comforting way. Every breath draws in a mixture of minerals, moisture, and quiet life. This natural scent wraps around you gently, creating an atmosphere that calms the nervous system and makes the mind feel more settled. In this environment, even the simple act of breathing becomes a source of peace, as if the forest is offering its calm to anyone who enters. Deep beneath the canopy, the rainforest feels like a world suspended between light and shadow. Sunbeams become soft, pale ribbons that stretch through the air, while the spaces between them remain cool and dim. This blend of brightness and darkness creates a natural rhythm that guides the eye gently from one detail to the next: the contour of a leaf, the curve of a vine, the shimmer of moisture on bark. Every element has its place, and the forest arranges itself in a delicate balance that calms the senses. Even simply observing the interplay of light and shade can lull the mind into deep tranquility. The rainforest is filled with plants that grow in layers, each one adapting to the exact amount of sunlight available. Some thrive in the brightest patches beneath the canopy gaps, while others prefer the deepest shade. This arrangement creates a gentle gradient of greens that transition seamlessly from one tone to another, forming a smooth visual tapestry that looks almost hand-painted. The absence of sharp contrasts allows the eyes to wander without effort, quietly absorbing the soft shapes and colors that surround them. It is a natural form of visual meditation, slow, soothing, and endlessly relaxing. Moisture clings to every surface in the rainforest, forming soft beads of water that gather at the edges of leaves. As the air shifts, these droplets roll downward with a slow, steady motion, leaving delicate trails behind them. When one drop reaches the tip of a leaf, it pauses for a heartbeat before falling in a gentle release that barely makes a sound. This patient journey of water repeats across millions of leaves, creating quiet patterns of descent that echo throughout the forest. Watching a single drop follow its path downward is enough to settle even the busiest mind into stillness. Some trees in the rainforest develop smooth, pale trunks without rough bark, giving them an almost polished appearance. These trunks reflect light softly, creating a subtle glow that brightens the understory without overpowering the shade. When the wind moves between them, the trees sway in slow arcs, their movements so fluid that they resemble living columns in a grand, silent hall. Standing among them feels like being inside a cathedral of nature. Cool, spacious, calm, and filled with an unspoken sense of reverence. Epiphytes, plants that grow on the surfaces of other plants, add layers of beauty to the rainforest without harming the trees they rest on. These gentle companions gather in clusters along branches, creating soft cushions of moss, ferns, and tiny flowers that thrive in the moist air. Their presence adds a sense of depth and texture to the forest, like intricate lace draped along high wooden beams. Because they depend only on the air and the rain, epiphytes feel weightless, peaceful, and quietly harmonious, contributing to the rainforest's gentle illusion of floating life. The air in the rainforest is thick with humidity, creating a sense of warmth that wraps around the body like a soft blanket. This warmth is not stifling. It is gentle, steady, and comforting, encouraging every muscle to relax. With each breath, you inhale moisture, rich with the scent of earth, wood, and distant rain. The atmosphere feels full, not heavy, but complete, as though the air itself is offering protection and calm. Breathing in this environment has a way of releasing tension naturally, as if the rainforest air knows how to soothe the human body without being asked. The movement of vines across the forest canopy creates an elegant architecture that feels organic, yet beautifully intentional. Some vines hang in long, perfect arcs from towering branches, while others wind around tree trunks in spirals that look like slow strokes of green paint. These shapes form soft patterns in the air, curving and looping in ways that draw the eye upward and outward. Their gentle lines create a sense of flow within the forest, guiding attention through the space in a calming, almost hypnotic manner. The rainforest becomes not just a collection of plants, but a continuous, breathing design. Whenever rain falls in a rainforest, a thin mist often rises from the ground moments later. This mist forms when warm, moist earth meets the cooler air descending through the canopy. It lifts in delicate ribbons, drifting upward like soft threads unraveling into the sky. Sometimes the mist remains low, curling gently around roots and fallen trunks like a living veil. Other times, it rises all the way to the canopy, where it blends with the light, making the entire forest glow faintly. These quiet moments of misty breath give the rainforest a dreamy, timeless quality. Large leaves in the rainforest often collect pools of rainwater that glisten like natural basins of glass. These tiny pools reflect the surrounding greenery in miniature, capturing perfect, still images of leaves, vines, and soft light. When a droplet falls into the pool, the reflection ripples gently, creating slow circles that spread outward in calming rhythms. Observing these small, shifting mirrors feels like watching the forest think each ripple a quiet thought drifting across the surface. Each reflection a reminder of the symmetry and beauty hidden in simple moments. High above the forest floor, branches interlace so densely that they form natural bridges between trees. Animals move easily along these living pathways, but even with all this motion, the canopy remains quiet, absorbing sound like a vast green cushion. The rustle of movement becomes a soft whisper, blending into the surrounding stillness. This muted world feels suspended, almost weightless, as if everything above the ground is floating gently in the humid air. The canopy becomes a world within a world, peaceful, balanced, and protected from the harsher elements of the outside environment. Deep within the rainforest, fallen logs become soft bridges of life as they slowly return to the earth. What was once a towering tree transforms over time into a quiet sanctuary for moss, fungi, and tiny plants that weave themselves gently across the bark. The surface becomes velvety with moisture, cool to the touch, and dotted with delicate shapes that rise and fall with the forest's quiet breath. These logs feel like memory, resting on the forest floor, reminders that nothing in this ecosystem truly disappears. It only softens, changes, and continues supporting life in the calmest, most patient way. The rainforest receives sunlight in a way that feels almost musical. When a cloud drifts overhead, the light fades gently instead of dimming suddenly, creating soft transitions that move across the leaves like waves of shadow. When the sun returns, the forest brightens in smooth, warm layers that seem to spread outward from a single point. These shifts in brightness are slow and continuous, giving the rainforest a visual rhythm that aligns naturally with deep, relaxed breathing. The forest glows and dims with such harmony that even the passing of clouds becomes a calming spectacle. The temperature inside a rainforest remains surprisingly stable because the thick canopy protects the ground from the harshest heat. This creates an environment that feels consistently warm but never overwhelming, as if the forest itself moderates the atmosphere with gentle hands. The air moves softly between the trees, carrying coolness from streams and warmth from pockets of sunlight, blending them into a steady, comforting climate. This balanced temperature wraps around the body and quiets tension, inviting both the mind and muscles to relax into the embrace of nature. Leaves in the rainforest are shaped with extraordinary elegance, often guiding rainwater along their surfaces with smooth, uninterrupted curves. Many leaves are designed to funnel water toward their tips, where droplets gather before falling in rhythmic intervals. Watching this slow process feels like observing nature perform its own calming ritual, each drop forming, pausing, and finally releasing in a gentle fall. These tiny, repeated movements create a soothing tempo that resonates throughout the forest, contributing to the deep sense of peace that defines the rainforest's inner world. The rainforest canopy stands so high above the ground that the space beneath it feels like an open hall, cool and sheltered, with columns of smooth trunks rising in every direction. The air here is dim but not dark, filled with faint green illumination that diffuses evenly through the leaves. This soft light makes the forest appear endless, stretching into a series of repeating patterns that fade gradually into mist. The sense of scale is vast, yet the atmosphere remains intimate, as though the entire forest is quietly holding itself still, so you can rest inside its presence. Some plants in the rainforest unfurl new leaves in slow, deliberate spirals, revealing bright, tender greens that gradually darken as they mature. These unfolding leaves resemble soft scrolls opening themselves to the world, each one expanding with patient grace. Watching this process, even in imagination, evokes a sense of calm growth change that happens without force, without hurry, guided only by gentle rhythms of moisture and light. It is a reminder that growth can be quiet, steady, and peaceful, much like the forest itself. Whenever rain returns after a period of warmth, the forest releases a deep, earthy scent that rises from the soil and drifts through the air. This fragrance, known as petrichor, blends with the natural aromas of leaves, bark, and moss, creating a rich, grounding perfume that feels ancient and comforting. Breathing it in creates a subtle sense of renewal, as though the forest is exhaling its history in soft waves. The scent settles into the mind like a calm thought, grounding and soothing with every breath. The rainforest's many layers, canopy, understory, and forest floor, create a vertical world where life stacks itself in gentle tiers. Each layer holds its own light, its own moisture, and its own quiet patterns of movement. This vertical arrangement gives the forest depth and dimension, making it feel like a place where time moves slowly upward and downward rather than forward. Standing within this layered environment feels like being embraced on all sides, surrounded by calm complexity that never overwhelms, only comforts. Some leaves in the rainforest are so large that they create soft rustling sounds when the breeze moves through them, producing deep, soothing tones, almost like nature's version of slow, gentle wind chimes. The movement of these massive leaves is steady and unhurried, swaying with a rhythm that aligns with the forest's overall stillness. Their broad surfaces shimmer faintly in the filtered light, catching droplets and releasing them softly. This slow, harmonious motion brings a sense of grounding calm, as if the entire forest is quietly swaying in time with your breath. The rainforest's rivers move with a unique grace, winding through the landscape in gentle curves that mirror the natural shapes of roots and branches. These rivers rarely rush in straight lines. Instead, they bend and flow around obstacles in fluid arcs, carrying smooth reflections of the canopy above. The sound of a rainforest river is soft and continuous, blending with the distant patter of rain to create a layered, soothing melody. Watching or imagining these waters drift slowly onward brings a feeling of deep release, a reminder that even motion can be restful when it follows the path of least resistance. Deep inside the rainforest, certain tree trunks shimmer with soft hues when the light strikes them at the right angle. The bark may appear brown at first glance, but the constant moisture brings out hidden tones of rose, amber, and pale green that shift gently as the breeze moves the surrounding leaves. These subtle colors often stay unnoticed unless you stand quietly and let your eyes adjust to the dim light. Over time, the bark's delicate beauty reveals itself, like a secret the forest shares, only with those willing to slow down and look closely. This quiet transformation adds a soft, painterly richness to the landscape, enhancing the sense of calm that fills the rainforest. Some parts of the rainforest are so densely covered in foliage that the ground exists in a kind of gentle twilight throughout the day. This dimness isn't gloomy. It is soothing, a soft shade that wraps around the body like cool fabric. In this filtered light, every detail becomes calmer shadows, blend softly, colors deepen, and even movement seems slower. The canopy above filters sound as well as light, creating an insulated space where the outside world feels impossibly distant. Standing in such a place gives the impression of being held within the forest's embrace, where time spreads out and thoughts naturally begin to settle. When rain falls steadily, the forest becomes a sanctuary of tiny, shimmering currents. Water flows down vines in thin, continuous streams, following their curves like silver threads drawn through the air. These streams gather into droplets at the ends, pausing until their weight pulls them downward in slow, measured falls. Watching water trace these natural pathways is incredibly soothing. The movements are gentle and predictable, each droplet following the same quiet journey from leaf to leaf. It feels like observing a calm ritual repeated over thousands of tiny surfaces, a ceremony of water and gravity unfolding at nature's softest pace. The forest floor holds pockets of air that feel noticeably cooler, especially where thick layers of leaves create natural insulation. This coolness often rises gently around ankles and legs as you walk, creating a refreshing contrast with the warm, humid air above. It is a sensation that feels grounding, almost therapeutic, as though the earth itself is offering a quiet form of comfort. Combined with the natural sense of soil and fallen leaves, this cool air creates an atmosphere that calms the mind with each breath, anchoring thoughts in the present moment. Rainforest streams sometimes form shallow pools where the water is so clear that the stones beneath appear as though they are glowing from within. These pools capture reflections of the canopy in perfect stillness, mirroring leaves, branches, and drifting beams of sunlight with incredible clarity. When a raindrop falls onto the surface, it creates expanding rings that distort the reflection in gentle waves, as if the forest itself were sighing. Standing near these pools brings a sense of quiet intimacy with nature, a feeling that time has paused just long enough for you to appreciate the beauty resting at your feet. Lianas, the thick, woody vines that twist through the rainforest, often hang in long arcs that sway gently with the movement of the air. Their shapes are fluid and elegant, curving in loops and spirals that resemble slow brushstrokes in the air. These vines connect branches, trees, and layers of canopy in a natural tapestry that feels both ancient and intentional. They serve as bridges for small creatures and as structural support for the trees themselves. But their presence also adds a soft rhythm to the forest's architecture. Watching them move is soothing a reminder that even in stillness, the rainforest carries a subtle, graceful motion. The quiet after a rainfall in the rainforest is one of the most calming moments nature offers. The drops that remain suspended on leaves release slowly, forming a series of delicate drips that echo into the damp air. Each drip lands with a soft thud, blending with the distant rush of water flowing through hidden channels beneath the ground. This gradual fading of rain creates a sense of closure, as if the forest is gently exhaling after a deep drink. The freshness that follows fills the air with a subtle sweetness, renewing the senses in a way that feels deeply peaceful. The undergrowth of the rainforest is dotted with ferns that unfurl their fronds in graceful spirals. These spirals begin tightly coiled and slowly open into wide, feathered leaves that catch the light in unique patterns. The process is gradual and mesmerizing, like watching a time-lapse slowed to the gentlest pace. The fronds' symmetry and softness give the rainforest floor an elegant texture, creating delicate shadows and fine details that invite the mind to wander in quiet contemplation. Everywhere you look, these natural patterns repeat, forming a calming, rhythmic beauty. When sunlight filters through the canopy during light rain, the droplets suspended in the air catch the light and create a sparkling mist that seems to float between the trees. This mist glows softly, turning the space into a luminous dreamscape where every movement is slowed by the suspended water. It feels as though the rainforest is wrapped in a glowing veil, a temporary transformation that lasts only minutes but leaves a deep impression. This quiet shimmer is one of the forest's gentlest gifts, a moment where rain, light, and air merge into a peaceful display of nature's calmest artistry. The forest's silence is never empty. It is filled with soft, layered sounds that create a soundscape similar to a slow lullaby. The distant murmur of water, the intermittent tapping of droplets falling from leaf to leaf, the quiet sway of branches, the subtle movement of animals, all blend into a single, soothing atmosphere. It is a kind of silence that holds sound gently, shaping it into something comforting rather than loud. In this soundscape, thoughts naturally slow, breathing becomes easier, and the body relaxes into the calm presence of the forest. In the deeper parts of the rainforest, where fewer footsteps ever pass, the air feels ancient and undisturbed. Here, the forest carries a soft weight of history, as though every leaf and branch remembers the thousands of seasons it has lived through. The quiet is deeper, the light dimmer, the scents richer. Even the breeze seems hesitant to move too quickly, drifting instead in gentle waves that sway the leaves with slow, measured motions. Standing in such a place feels like listening to the earth breathe at its calmest pace, surrounded by life that has learned the value of silence and patience. Water droplets gather on the tips of leaves in the early morning, forming perfect spheres that reflect miniature versions of the canopy above. These droplets cling delicately, trembling only slightly with the movement of the air. Over time, they stretch slowly downward under their own weight, elongating until finally they release with a soft fall. This tiny descent, repeated across thousands of leaves, creates a rhythmic pattern that blends seamlessly with the forest's natural hum. Watching these droplets move is like observing time in its gentlest form, slow, predictable, and soothing to the mind. Deep rivers wind through the rainforest in smooth, sweeping curves shaped by centuries of patient erosion. Their surfaces are often so calm that they mirror the sky above like glass, reflecting the soft greens and blues of the canopy with remarkable clarity. When rain begins to fall, the surface transforms into a gently flickering pattern of expanding circles, each ripple merging into the next. These quiet disturbances create a mesmerizing display that encourages the mind to drift, following the widening rings until they dissolve into the background flow of the river. The rainforest is filled with towering trees whose branches begin high above the ground, creating enormous, open spaces beneath them. These cathedral-like clearings feel cool and spacious, with beams of light descending through the canopy like columns. Dust motes and moisture float lazily in these beams, turning the air into a soft, luminous haze. Standing in one of these clearings feels like entering a sacred place, where every movement is absorbed into the stillness, and even the smallest sound seems to echo with gentle reverence. On fallen branches and rotting logs, tiny fungi often appear in shapes so delicate they look like nature's version of lace. These structures grow in quiet clusters, their edges softened by the constant moisture in the air. They come in shades of cream, amber, or pale gold, glowing subtly in the filtered light. Their presence adds a sense of intricacy to the forest floor, revealing the rainforest's ability to create beauty, even in decay. Observing these small forms can bring an unexpected calm, as if the forest is showing you that growth and ending can coexist peacefully, each supporting the other in quiet balance. Rainforest vines sometimes stretch between trees like long, natural bridges, forming soft arches that sway gently with the passing breeze. These bridges are used by countless small animals, but their movement remains serene, a slow, graceful shifting that mirrors the rhythm of the leaves above. When wind moves through the canopy, these vines sway in harmony, creating a peaceful choreography of curved lines and quiet motion. Their gentle movements add a dreamlike quality to the landscape, reminding you that even connections formed in silence can hold incredible strength. The roots of some rainforest trees extend outward across the ground like wide, sprawling arms, creating natural pathways that rise and fall with the contours of the land. These roots are often covered in moss that feels cool and velvety under the fingertips, absorbing the moisture that drifts through the air. Walking beside these roots gives the impression of traveling alongside something ancient and alive, as though the forest itself is guiding your steps with its quiet presence. Their soft curves add stability to the soil, anchoring the forest with a calm, grounded strength. When rain falls lightly through the canopy, the droplets sometimes catch on thin strands of spider silk that stretch between branches. These strands become beaded with tiny, shimmering pearls of water, turning nearly invisible threads into delicate strings of crystal. When sunlight reaches them, the droplets glow in soft colors, shimmering with pastel reflections. These fragile displays last only briefly, disappearing when the wind stirs or the droplets fall. Yet in their short existence, they bring a touch of magic to the forest, a reminder that even the smallest details can carry immense beauty. In the quiet hours just before dusk, the rainforest takes on a deeper, more tranquil tone. The colors fade into richer, darker greens, and the light shifts into a soft blue haze that settles across the landscape. Breezes slow, rain becomes a gentle mist, and the forest sounds lower into a softer register. This transition has a calming effect, encouraging everything, plants, animals, and even the atmosphere, to move more slowly. The entire environment feels as though it is preparing for rest, inviting your thoughts to settle alongside it. When night finally approaches, bioluminescent organisms sometimes glow faintly from the forest floor or from the surfaces of decaying wood. Their soft light is cool and subtle, never bright enough to disturb the surrounding darkness. Instead, it appears in small pools and scattered points, creating a scene that feels both mysterious and soothing. These gentle glimmers resemble stars caught beneath the canopy, offering a peaceful reminder that even in deep shade, nature finds ways to bring light. Their steady glow provides a quiet sense of companionship in the nighttime forest. At certain moments in the rainforest, the canopy opens just enough to reveal narrow shafts of sunlight that fall straight to the ground in glowing, golden columns. These beams illuminate drifting mist, leaves in mid-fall, and tiny particles floating in the air, turning the space beneath them into a quiet stage of light. Standing within one of these sunlit pillars feels like being wrapped in warmth and stillness, as though the forest has paused time long enough for you to experience a brief moment of pure calm. The light is never harsh. It arrives softened by the canopy above, creating a gentle spotlight that soothes the senses. Some of the oldest trees in the rainforest hold a wisdom that feels almost tangible. Their massive trunks rise steadily from the forest floor, widening at the base and narrowing as they climb toward the canopy. The surface of their bark carries the marks of countless seasons, rain trails, tiny grooves, patches of moss that come and go. Touching these trees evokes a sense of connection, not just to the rainforest, but to the long history of life itself. They stand as quiet guardians, their presence grounding and reassuring, as if they silently remind you that strength can be both gentle and enduring. Rainforest waterfalls often begin as thin, silver threads of water cascading over smooth rock. As they fall, the water gathers speed, but not sound. The constant padding of mist and moss around the falls softens the noise into a calming hush. When these delicate waterfalls reach the pool below, the surface ripples outward in slow, expanding rings that fade gently as they move away. Watching the waterfall from a distance gives the impression that the entire scene is breathing the falling water, inhaling, the rippling pool exhaling, all in a slow, tranquil rhythm that invites you to relax with it. The rainforest air carries a gentle warmth that settles into the body slowly, loosening muscles the way a warm blanket would. This warmth mixes with the coolness that rises from the ground, creating a layered atmosphere that adjusts to your movement. As you walk through the forest, you might feel a shift in temperature from step to step, a pocket of cooler air near a stream, a warmer pocket where sunlight collects just above the leaves. These subtle variations create a sensory experience that calms the body naturally, encouraging deeper breaths and a softer state of mind. Many rainforest plants have broad leaves that catch droplets of rain and funnel them through their central veins. When enough water gathers, the droplets fall from the tip in slow, rhythmic intervals. This steady tapping creates a peaceful sound that echoes gently through the forest. The rhythm is never mechanical or repetitive. It is soft, organic, and soothing, like a heartbeat played on leaves. Hearing this delicate tapping makes you feel as though the forest is communicating in its own quiet language, a language of rain, leaves, and gentle movement. The deeper you move into the rainforest, the thicker the air becomes with natural scents, fresh rain on soil, the sweetness of new growth, the earthy musk of fallen leaves. These scents blend into a perfume that is both grounding and uplifting, creating an atmosphere that feels comforting to breathe. Instead of overwhelming the senses, the scents settle into the background, offering a calm presence that soothes the mind with every inhalation. It is a scent that embodies life itself, clean, ancient, and quietly powerful. On certain mornings, the leaves of the rainforest shimmer with a thin layer of dew that reflects the rising sun in 1,000 tiny glints. These droplets cling to the edges of leaves, outlining their shapes with soft points of light. As the sun climbs higher, the droplets evaporate slowly, their disappearance so gradual that you almost don't notice it happening. This process creates a gentle shift from sparkling brilliance to soft, matte green, a transition that mirrors the slow awakening of the forest. It is a peaceful reminder that beauty in nature often appears and fades with quiet grace. In the understory, small patches of light break through the canopy in irregular shapes, creating tiny oases where plants that need more sunlight can thrive. These patches become miniature worlds of vibrant growth, standing out against the deeper greens around them. The plants here reach toward the light with subtle determination, their leaves spreading wide to catch each filtered ray. Observing these small pockets of brightness feels like witnessing hope in physical form, gentle, quiet, and patient. It reflects the rainforest's ability to nurture life in even the smallest openings. Rainforest streams occasionally split around rocks, creating quiet eddies where water circles lazily before merging back into the main flow. These swirling pools move with such softness that the motion is almost invisible unless you look closely. They form elegant spirals that shift in slow harmony with the gentle current. Watching these spirals can ease the mind into a similar pattern, thoughts turning slowly, calmly, settling into peaceful loops before drifting away. These small movements remind you that tranquility can exist even in motion, especially when that motion is natural and unforced. In the quiet moments after sunset, the rainforest transitions into a cooler, darker atmosphere that feels like a deep exhale. Moisture rises gently from the ground, blending with the night air and creating a soft veil that hangs between the trees. The forest becomes quieter, its sounds lowering into a slow, muted hum. Leaves gleam faintly with the last traces of twilight, and the canopy above darkens into layers of shadow. This transition into night feels like the forest preparing itself for rest, a gentle shift that encourages your own thoughts to quiet and settle. Deeper into the rainforest, small pools of rainwater collect in natural hollows of tree trunks and fallen branches, forming miniature worlds suspended between earth and sky. These tiny pools are so still that they reflect the canopy perfectly, holding inverted images of leaves, clouds, and soft light. When a breeze ripples the surface, the reflection breaks into gentle waves that shimmer like liquid glass. These quiet waters become small sanctuaries for insects and tiny plants, each drop forming its own self-contained universe of calm. Standing nearby, the silence around these pools feels almost sacred, as though the forest itself is pausing to admire its delicate reflections. Some ferns in the rainforest grow in vast, sweeping patterns, their fronds curling and uncurling like slow green tides. When light hits them at the right angle, the leaves glow with a soft, translucent radiance that makes the entire patch appear illuminated from within. These ferns sway with even the faintest breath of wind, moving in a motion so slow and synchronized that they resemble gentle waves rolling across a quiet sea of green. This steady, fluid movement has a calming effect on the mind, as if nature is demonstrating how to breathe, slowly, deeply, and without strain. Rainforest. Mornings often begin with a thin fog that settles between the trees, softening the landscape into shades of gray-green. This mist muffles sound, making every step quieter and every distant noise more muted. The world becomes a gentle blur, with shapes emerging slowly as the fog shifts and thins. The atmosphere feels cool and velvety, wrapping everything in a hush that encourages the mind to slow down. Walking through this early mist is like moving through a dream where nothing demands attention and everything invites stillness. Some rainforest trees grow smooth, shallow roots that spread far across the ground like wide, gentle wings. These buttress roots appear almost sculptural, rising in soft curves before merging seamlessly with the forest floor. Moss often blankets their surfaces, creating a soft, green sheen that adds to their serene presence. These roots provide strength and stability to the towering trees, anchoring them firmly without disrupting the earth. Standing beside them gives the sensation of being next to something both powerful and calm, an ancient figure lying in peaceful repose. Water droplets caught on palm fronds or large leaves often line up in long, elegant rows. These rows of droplets glisten like strings of tiny pearls, reflecting light in soft, shimmering tones. As the weight of the droplets increases, they slide slowly along the length of the leaf, traveling its gentle curve before reaching the edge and falling in a quiet drop. Watching this journey is soothing, an unhurried path guided only by gravity and shape, a reminder of how even simple motions can become sources of peace when nature performs them with grace. In certain corners of the rainforest, vines form natural curtains that hang in long, delicate strands from branches high above. These curtains sway gently as the air moves, their motion creating a soft, whispering sound as the strands brush lightly against one another. Light filters between them in thin lines, casting elegant shadows on the ground below. Standing behind this curtain of vines gives the sense of being in a hidden room within the forest, a private chamber of calm where the outside world feels distant and muted. When rain falls steadily but gently, the forest produces a layered chorus of soft sounds, drops tapping leaves, water sliding down trunks, streams swelling quietly, distant drips echoing from unseen places. Each sound blends into the next, forming an unbroken, soothing melody that seems to wrap itself around the listener. These natural harmonies create an auditory blanket that calms the nervous system, making each breath feel slower and deeper. In this moment, the forest becomes a living lullaby, singing softly to anyone willing to listen. Rainforest moss covers rocks, roots, and fallen logs with a softness that feels almost like fabric. Its surface is cool and springy, absorbing moisture and holding it in tiny pockets. This moss not only softens the appearance of the forest floor, but also dampens sound, adding to the overall hush that defines the rainforest's atmosphere. Touching it is grounding. Its velvety texture connects you directly to the earth in a way that feels soothing and reassuring. It serves as a gentle reminder that even the smallest forms of life contribute to the forest's quiet, calming presence. Certain plants in a rainforest unfold new leaves in a slow, deliberate manner that feels almost choreographed. These tender leaves often begin as tightly curled spirals, protected by soft outer layers. As they open, the delicate inner surfaces reveal lighter shades of green that deepen as the leaves mature. This unfolding happens at a pace so gradual that it's easy to miss unless you spend time observing. Yet even knowing it is happening brings a sense of peace. Growth in the rainforest is never rushed. It unfolds with a steady patience that mirrors the breath of the forest itself. In the moments after a sudden, heavy rainstorm, the rainforest sparkles with a brightness that feels almost magical. Every surface, from the smallest leaf to the tallest branch, gleams with fresh droplets that catch whatever light filters through the clouds. The air becomes cooler and fresher, carrying the clean, earthy scent of wet soil and renewed vegetation. This brief period of shimmering stillness makes the entire forest appear reborn, washed clean and glowing from within. It is one of the rainforest's quiet gifts, a moment of perfect calm following nature's softest cleansing. In some of the quietest places beneath the canopy, you may find delicate droplets suspended from the very tips of branches, each one holding a perfect reflection of the world behind it. These droplets cling with remarkable stillness, trembling only when the air shifts. The reflections inside them, tiny upside-down images of leaves, beams of light, and patches of sky, look like miniature portals into another version of the forest. When the droplet finally releases and falls, it lands softly on the ground, disappearing without a sound. These fleeting reflections remind you that even the smallest details of the rainforest carry entire landscapes within them, hidden until you slow down enough to see. Certain leaves in the rainforest have surfaces so smooth and wax-like that water doesn't cling to them at all. Instead, droplets slide across in perfect spheres, gliding effortlessly to the edge before falling. This movement is mesmerizing to watch. The droplet rolls slowly, gathering smaller beads along the way until it swells and drops in a graceful arc. The path it leaves behind shines briefly, as though the leaf had been polished by the rain. This natural ability to repel water keeps the leaves clean and healthy, but it also creates quiet, fluid motions that seem designed to calm the mind. Some sections of the forest form natural tunnels made from intertwined branches and vines, shaped over decades by growth that follows the path of sunlight. These green corridors curve gently in both directions, creating the sensation of walking through a living archway. Light filters through the leaves above in shifting patterns, creating a mosaic of brightness and shadow underfoot. Moving slowly through this space feels like entering a secret passage within the natural world, a place where voices become softer and footsteps quieter, encouraging you to breathe more deeply and let your mind settle into the tranquility around you. After a long rainfall, you may notice thin sheets of water sliding down angled leaves, forming delicate rivulets that look like threads of liquid silver. These thin flows gather into tiny streams that travel along the leaf's surface in graceful paths, guided by the leaf's natural veins. When the streams reach the tip, they break into droplets that fall in hushed, predictable rhythms. This gentle pattern of water, following curved green pathways, carries a serenity that feels almost meditative, turning each leaf into a soft conductor, guiding the rain toward the forest floor. In places where the canopy opens slightly, sunlight pours through in soft cascades that illuminate suspended droplets still falling from the branches above. This intersection of rain and sun creates a shimmer that looks nearly golden, a brief sparkle that glows against the deep greens of the forest. For a few moments, the air seems filled with tiny pixels of light, drifting slowly downward, like fragments of a quiet daydream. The rainforest takes on an enchanted stillness during these moments, as though time has slowed enough for light and water to dance together in gentle harmony. The forest floor, though often dim, has its own quiet beauty. Fallen leaves layer themselves into thick, soft carpets that cushion every step. Their colors shift from bright greens to warm browns and deep ambers as they decompose, forming natural gradients that blend seamlessly with the soil. When you walk across this soft ground, your footsteps seem to disappear into the earth, absorbed without resistance. This hushed, yielding surface encourages a calm pace, guiding you to move slowly and mindfully as the forest settles beneath you. The movement of butterflies in the rainforest is incredibly gentle, unfolding like drifting petals carried by the air. They weave slowly between shafts of light, their wings reflecting soft, shifting colors that blend into their surroundings. Their flight paths are never rushed or direct. They wander freely, moving with a quiet curiosity that feels peaceful to watch. Sometimes a butterfly lands on a leaf and remains perfectly still, letting the breeze move its wings in small, rhythmic pulses. This gentle presence adds a sense of softness to the rainforest, as if the air itself is filled with calm intention. In the quiet shade near streams, smooth stones lie beneath the water's surface, worn into rounded shapes by years of patient flow. The water slides over them with such consistency that it creates faint, soothing vibrations that you can feel through the ground if you sit close enough. These stones hold the coolness of the stream in their surfaces, radiating a subtle chill that balances the warm humidity of the air. Their presence adds a grounding calm to the landscape, reminding you that even the simplest elements of nature participate in the rainforest's endless cycles of balance. There are moments in the rainforest when the leaves overhead align just enough to let the sky peek through in delicate patches. These glimpses of pale blue or soft gray look like small windows placed high among the branches, offering a quiet connection to the vast world beyond the canopy. The contrast between the enclosed calm of the forest and the openness of the sky creates a peaceful sensation, as if you are held gently between earth and heaven. These small windows of sky shift subtly as the wind moves the branches, giving the sense that the forest is breathing along with you. During the final moments before nighttime settles fully, the rainforest enters a state of profound calm. The last traces of light cling to the edges of leaves, turning them into gentle silhouettes against a dimming sky. the air cools just slightly, carrying the scent of damp earth and fresh rainfall. Sounds soften into distant murmurs as animals quiet themselves, and the first hints of night's deep stillness begin to stretch through the trees. This transition feels like a slow exhale from the entire forest, a peaceful release that invites your mind to drift, your breath to slow, and your body to sink into rest. As our quiet journey through the rainforest gently comes to an end, allow the last traces of this ancient world to settle softly around your mind. Think of the layers of green stretching endlessly above, each leaf catching drops of rain, each vine swaying with careful grace, each small sound blending into the next until the entire forest becomes a single, steady breath. This is a place that never rushes, never forces, never hurries. It simply exists in rhythms as old as the earth itself. And in those rhythms, you've allowed your thoughts to slow, your breath to deepen, and your body to soften into the stillness you've been seeking all day. The rainforest holds a calm that feels woven from time millions of years of quiet growth, patient roots, and gentle cycles of light and water. That calm stays with you now. Even as you leave its pathways, the memory of its soft mist, its filtered light, and its soothing atmosphere lingers in your chest like a warm, grounding weight. Every droplet that fell from a leaf, every shimmer of sunlight through the canopy, every whisper of wind against broad green fronds has become part of the quiet, settling into your mind. Let those memories remain with you. Let them continue to slow your thoughts and ease your breath, guiding you deeper into rest. Remember that the forest does not disappear when you close your eyes. It simply shifts into imagination, ready to welcome you back whenever you need stillness. Its rivers continue to flow in gentle curves, its leaves continue to sway in unhurried rhythms, and its air continues to hum with the subtle music of life moving peacefully. You can return to that calm anytime by breathing slowly, by quieting your thoughts, by letting your mind drift to this place of mist and green light. Thank you for joining the Sleepy Scientist tonight. If this journey through the rainforest brought you peace, comfort, or rest, consider subscribing so you can return with me again to new worlds, new wonders, and new corners of nature where quiet lives and breath finds room to slow. Until next time, may your thoughts stay gentle, your dreams stay soft, and your night be as calm as the rainforest after the rain. Good night.